and boom!
Common man, no show pep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, or gets a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Okay, calm down.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
You know, I didn't like the way we were playing in sack, so I just told him, hey, you're going to live and die with me. Y'all, don't nobody like it. Sit your ass down right here. Don't come out here, but we coming through me. You know, that's why I like Sam to come in. You know, I let them do their thing for 3 quarters, come 4th quarter, bring it to the ticket.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing what a sophisticated offensive game plan looks like. You talk about...
I'm going to make him an offer again.
Pop Boss, Holland, anytime, anywhere.
Little puck talk. Little hoop action. That sounds like a heck of a concert, actually. I might want to go to that.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Yes, I do!
It was a nice run.
If he's dead, well, he's dead.
It was a nice run.
You listen to Cooley?
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Man up. Yeah, Rosie.
You just have to draw your own conclusions.
Yeah,
people.
Rosie.
I didn't say that, Common. Don't put words in my mouth.
Yeah, Rosie.
You think that's some information I would like to know?
Lucky.
Welcome back to the spotlight, young man.
Rosa, you don't know nothing.
He's the clown from Brown.
Yeah.
He's the 4th in the North. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Indeed, that would be me, because if I'm supposed to look like somebody else, why do I look like me? The drum begins at 5, actually. 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4, 2, 1. Greetings, good afternoon, and Act 2 in yours. Wow, what an action-packed day. So much going on. The Vikings looking for a dub in Dublin. The Caliac Manus Revenge Tour continues. The former Gopher quarterback will take on the soon-to-be Rose Bowl champion Minnesota Golden Gophers. Are the Lynx about to lose and be upset by the Neptunes? Those and other stories. Where do we start? I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel of topics.
Commons golf game.
What'd you shoot today?
Even par.
Where'd we play?
Royal Short Course. It's par. 6 holes. Got 6 par 3s.
Where'd you hit it on one?
Well, they're all par 3s. The longest hole is 95 yards. 65 yards downhill, knocked it to the center of the green. Playing safe on the first one.
Second shot?
Putt just missed for birdie.
Incredible.
Tapped in for par. That was a 65-yard downhill par 3. The next one was a very tricky 34-yard uphill par 3. Hit it a little long, Tenneby. I got all of it. Had a flyer lie. Double-crossed myself and overcooked it. So I went to the very back of the green, and that green was slipperier than I thought. There was dew on it, and I went by about 5-6 feet, missed it coming back. But then the 91-yard straightaway par 3, very, very dangerous. Knocked a wedge. Let's see, I hit a 3/4 knockdown, 50-degree wedge, and then made about a 10, 12-foot putt for birdie to get back to even. 74-yarder. This was nifty. It was uphill. I pulled it left, so I was on the embankment on the left, had a downhill chip, hit a marvelous little chip, and then buried the putt from about 5 feet to remain at even. The 51-yard par 3 vexed me, number 5. Again, I hit it long. Hit a pretty good chip, 4 feet past, missed the 4-footer, and then tend to be the very dangerous, very longest hole on the course. I'd call it the number 1 handicap, 98 yards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, middle of the green.
The full shot?
Yeah, a little uphill. Hit a 3/4 knockdown, punch cut fade, pitching wedge to about 10 feet. I wanted it. And you know what I said? I thought of you, because you've always told me, why don't you say, I've got to have this putt every time you putt? Because generally speaking, when I say, I've got to have this putt, what do? I make it. So I said, I've got to have this putt, and I made it. So I've never played the Royal Club short course ever before until today, and all I can say is I'm par for the course. I kind of threw you off when I said even parted. You're thinking, oh my gosh.
Oh, because I guess I would have heard about that an hour ago if that really happened.
Yeah. Here's a text message. No one cares with a bunch of exclamation marks. You must, because you took the time to text about it. Sorry, I can't help where the wheel stops. I don't care either.
And you don't speak for everybody.
Yeah, and you don't speak for everybody.
You can say, I don't care, but you can't say no one cares.
No, I can't tell you how many times when we don't even spin it, people go, where's Wheel of Topic? I need my golf fix. And I can't control where it lands. I listed the topics. I didn't even expect that to come out or come up. Who would have? I don't even like talking about myself or my golf game. What the heck? But there it is. Rock Talk 12:30 program. Spread Swing 1:30. We'll get a lot of laughs there, I'm sure. And the legendary Mark Rosen will join us for Spread Swing, and then he'll be here from 2 until 3. As I was going through the clubhouse at the golf course today, they had ESPN on, and it was the crazy dude that screams all the time, sits courtside New York Knicks, Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith and some, I don't know the other characters. I recognize Stephen, but I don't know the other guys. But where they always, on the bottom, they have what the topic is. Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Carson Wentz?
Ooh.
Quarterback. And I don't know the context. I don't know if they were going back to what you and I discussed. What
I'm sure they were. Yeah.
All of Minnesota was discussing was, should the Vikings have gone with Aaron Rodgers, signed him during the offseason and had him their starting quarterback, or if they were just saying, going into Sunday's game, who would you rather have as your quarterback? Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Carson Wentz? I don't even know if it was specific to the team. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know exactly what it was. But my guess is they were discussing, if you're the Vikings, would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or Carson Wentz? Yeah. A topic that you and I and others dove into quite deeply. And
they probably stole it from us. Or their producers was listening.
That's it. Much like how when Bodega Cat appeared on, what show was he on again? He was
on Fallon.
He was on Jimmy Fallon. And they were asking about the nicknames and said, what about Big Meow? And then Big Meow tried to credit Josh Hart with it. It's like, well, no, Josh Hart didn't come up with that. I was the one that told you that's what we call you when you were on the air with me. Maybe he's confusing me with Josh Hart. But so yeah, they stole that from us. So maybe that's what they did. Yeah, and again, you can't go back and reverse anything. I'm still on record as saying, as much as, and look, nobody had more fun roasting Aaron Rodgers than you and I did. I mean, we would do May Day in Green Bay, and like most other sports talk shows, we spend a lot of time focused on Aaron Rodgers, but nonetheless, it would have been interesting from a sports talk show host point of view, just from the, every game, every story would be, what about Aaron? Aaron this, Aaron that. They decided to go in another direction for whatever reasons. I think there's probably several, and no one knows for sure. I mean, the organization just said it was just time to start the J.J. McCarthy era. I still think some of it's, when you're quarterback whisperer guy, you're not going to be whispering at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to get a lot of the attention. It's going to be more about him than anybody else, including the coach and all the other players. And maybe they didn't like that distraction. Maybe the head coach didn't like it. I don't know. It's just all guesswork. Folks are folks, and everybody has wants and needs, and desires, and such like that. But that's water under the bridge now. It's Carson Wentz. Where the Vikings went wrong, I don't know. But he'll start Sunday. You'll hear that game on this radio station. What's nice is doubleheader action. Vikings at 8:30. The game will get over about 11:30, and then it will be Kitties hosting the Browns, and Green Bay plays.
Who do they got? They got Dallas.
They got Dallas. And is that just a day game, or is that a special game? Is that a Sunday night, Monday night? Regardless, Green Bay plays Dallas. So we'll break. We'll come back with Peek at the Purple.
It's Sunday night game.
Sunday night game. So we got three games to take a look at. We'll come back with Peek at the Purple next on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, or just made learning fun? Now's your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Today's teacher of the day is Christopher Lamprecht, who teaches at Seven Hills Preparatory Academy in Richfield, and who folks told us is not only inspiring his sixth grade students in the subject of science, but also working hard for the school as a whole in his additional role of PTA representative. Help us say thank you to the educator shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
I call it vindication, Tenneby. Vindication. Revenge is best served on the edge of a pointy stick or one of those s'mores holders where you do the marshmallows over an open fire, like chestnuts roasting on one. After the no one cares text message came through, I was overwhelmed, inundated with text messages on the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. They read as follows: I care. I care. I care. I care. I love the wheel. I think I care too much. I care. You had me at even par. Hey, Common, I love Wheel of Topics, just anticipating where it will land. I care, Common. Tell that listener I've been waiting for the Wheel of Topics to land on something else for a couple 13, 14 years. I tune in each day just to see. I care. Not a lot, but a little bit. Common, I just dropped my wife's lunch off at her office that she forgot at home, and I sprinted back to my car to hear how your round ended.
I always love that one.
I don't even golf, but man, that bit is so good. I'm just enjoying Wheel of Topics while I can. You never know when the season turns. I care. Me boy, I care. I haven't been able to golf in almost 3 years, like 10 of 4. My kids and their activities have kept me off the course. I live vicariously through you. Would be disappointed if Common's golf game wasn't the outcome of Wheel of Topic. And then there's one that says he turns the station when it comes on. Well, you win 13-14.
I care, man.
Somebody said they wanted you to play that. Oh. It's like you read the mind of it. He said,
I care, man.
He said, play the I care, man soundbite, and you just did. You win some listeners, you lose one. That's the way she goes.
Yeah.
Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our friends.
You know, you can't please everyone.
So you got to please yourself.
Correct.
Peek at the Purple is brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Remember, if you're thinking of buying one of those EVs, electrical vehicle, you got to do it by the end of the month to secure that $75 tax rebate, which is a pretty good deal. Then you're going to need one of those 240-volt plugins in your garage. They can do that at Affordable Electric. Also, if you have that 3 seasons porch, want to watch football in the fall outdoors, but it gets a little chilly, they can heat that thing up for you, too. For all of your electrical needs, go to affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric is, wait for it, shockingly affordable is what it is. Fish Wrap Factory Westside Tennessee did a piece today, Andrew Kramer, regarding Jordan Addison. Says, Vikings Jordan Addison returns from 3-game ban and is clicking with Carson Wentz. Of course he is. Did you expect any other headline? Did you expect, they really haven't been able to, they're like 2 ships passing in the night. It just doesn't, they haven't been able to really get any kind of chemistry going. And maybe they are getting chemistry, but it's practice. It's training camp. I take all of that with a grain of salt. It's like the spring game. We talk about it all the time. Go for spring game. Defense was great. Offense was terrific. Well, was the defense really great, or was the go for offense really bad? Was the go for offense really bad, or is there just good, or is their defense just bad? So I want to wait till we have some real games. I do like Jordan Addison as a wide receiver. When Jets missed a significant portion of, was it last year or the year before, whatever it was, Addison became the number 1 target, and he did well. He's a really good wide receiver, and I like him. But I really do need to see how it plays out on Sundays against, competition that is, giving it everything they got. I guess in camp maybe they are, but I still have to wait to see. I think Wentz is a veteran quarterback. He's kind of seen everything, and Addison seemed to blossom a little bit, so I think it'll be fine. But I take all those that headline with a grain of salt. I did see this too. Is it Wednesday? Am I doing a wet blanket Wednesday?
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday now, so I'm wet blanketing on a Thursday. But here's what it says. Give me the, gosh darn it. Here it is. Offensive coordinator Wes Phillips said Addison's unbelievable camp. They can't even believe it. It was that good. Unbelievable camp sets him up for immediate success. Still, the team's depth at receiver means they don't need to rush him back into an every down workload.
What?
Where's that depth? We have one of the best wide receivers in pro football, and then what? I think Speedy Naylor's okay. I've not seen anything that makes me think Speedy Naylor's a terrific wide receiver. And Adam Thielen, to this point, looks like an aging over-the-hill wideout. Where's our depth at wide receiver? And Hawkinson's had, I think, a nice he's been okay. I just don't see where the depth at wide receiver is. And I know it's a wet blanket Wednesday on a Thursday, and I like the purple and wish them well, but I'm not convinced we have that much depth. Or am I missing something?
Well, I was going to say, there's 2 parts of that quote that I would throw me off. One is what you just pointed to, that is really our depth that great. 2, Jordan Addison's not coming off an injury.
Right.
He's been healthy. He participated all the preseason training. He should be able to just jump right in and be at 100%. What are we easing him in for?
Yeah, Phillips said, I don't know that you're looking to play him 80 snaps. We see it now, like we have 4 starting receivers with Jordan back. Want to keep all those guys fresh. And like you say, he's a young man that hasn't played at all. He's been chomping at the bit, right? He's missed 3 games. I don't see why he couldn't play. It's wide receiver.
He's not Darisaw, where he's coming off a year injury and you want to put him on a little bit of a pitch count.
Or he's in the offensive line or defensive line where you're battling and battling and battling. You're out running routes. And a lot of the times the ball doesn't even come to you. So you're running fast, you're running right out, and the pass is incomplete. And then you go back to pass throws, caught by Jefferson. Sometimes you don't even catch any ball. I'm with you. I find it sort of preposterous. Throw the ball early and often. He should be ready to go. He's a young man with all sorts of vim, vigor, and energy, but we'll see how it plays out. I don't know how much of a challenge Pittsburgh makes. I watched that first game against the Jets. I've seen nothing else. They're 2-1 like we are. I think Pittsburgh's, like the record would indicate, they're an above-average team. Right now I look at the Vikings as an above-average team, so it should be fun. You'll hear it on this radio station. Is coverage at 6:30 then?
6:30 a.m.
Do you prefer that than a late evening game than a Sunday night or a Monday night game? Do you prefer?
I prefer it than the evening,
right?
But I don't prefer waking up that early.
Yeah, you like the nooners best, right? Is that or the 3 o'clock?
Now I think about it, I dislike the 3 o'clock the most.
Oh, really?
Because it seems to take up your entire day.
Yeah, okay,
At least the evening game, I can spend time with the kids and stuff in the morning and stuff.
Yeah. You'll be up bright and early. I'll be sawing logs until kickoff. Coverage is 6:30, kickoff at 8:30. Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric, affordable-electric.com. They're shockingly affordable. Rock Talk with Oak next here on The Fan.
KFAN welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra for 2 amazing shows at Target Center on December 28th at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m.
Still I wonder who'll stop the rain.
Tickets are on sale now.
I'm lost in love and I don't know much.
Get complete show details, including a link to buy tickets at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 past. Time now for Rock Talk. I'm the common man, Dan Cole. He's tend to be excited and delighted to be joined by Brian Oak. And say it isn't so, Joe. Say it isn't so. I was disappointed that you're the guy I turned to and you didn't recognize Robert Palmer's Takes Every Kind of People. We were talking about people that have fallen off the deep end,
right,
psychologically. And I said, well, it takes every kind of people. I started singing the song and you weren't familiar with it. And then I played it for you. You still weren't familiar.
Listen, nobody knows all the songs,
no, I know,
right?
I know.
Nobody. You can't. There's, you can know a lot, but you can't know it. And I know who Robert Palmer is. I'm familiar with his career trajectory.
You don't have to like him.
No, I didn't. Yeah, in his case, I don't even know if you have to respect him. But I mean, that was a hit. I did a little digging here, and I get it. I for some reason, that's a blind spot in my musical arc.
You have a podcast.
I do, in fact. It happened yesterday. We recorded 2 more. The most recent one with local favorite Chastity Brown. It's available. It's called The Brian Oak Show. 518 episodes deep now, and it is available at your leisure if you want to listen to a lot about music, particularly about local music and the Minnesota scene. Simply go to your free iHeartRadio app and get it right there. The Brian Oak Show podcast.
Did you go to Huntington Bank Stadium this weekend for Farm Aid 40?
I did not, but I have many friends who went, and all of them raved that it was what it was supposed to be. Apparently, It very much lived up to the hype, is what I heard.
Oh.
Why? What did you hear?
Well, I didn't go, but I was notified by my sister. She said, hey, it's streaming on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
So I went to YouTube and...
Well, that's not really the way to enjoy a live concert.
I know, but I'm just saying the performances to me. I mean, again, and
these are people in their 80s, man.
I'm an aging radio talk show host.
Right.
These people are my contemporaries or close to it.
Understood. I mean, no, Dylan was not good. He was not good.
I had my sister on the phone.
It was bad, actually.
I had my sister on the phone, and Deuce was there, and then my lovely wife, Potato, was there. I was laughing so hard. Do you ever laugh where you cry?
Oh, all the time.
You could not understand a word, but I love him. We love him. He's an icon. He's one of us. And I enjoy his music immensely.
He's a perfect example of you don't have to love him, but you have to respect him. Because I was never, even at his zenith or his most influential or when he could still sing, I'm a mediocre Bob Dylan fan. But no, I heard that performance was particularly terrible.
He would just goes, Highway 61. That was the only thing you could make out of what he said.
You're telling me if you Dylan duetted with him, you would have been improving the quality of his performance, and he's Bob Dylan.
Absolutely. My sister said she saw him live a few years ago, and they said they never knew what song he was singing musically or the lyrics. You just never knew what he was doing, but he's Bob Dylan. Plus, I saw Mellencamp, Dylan, God, I I'm so bad.
What are we talking about?
Heart of Gold guy. This
Neil Young.
Neil Young.
Yeah.
And then Willie Nelson. So I just caught the tail end.
Right. But you got the big, the high octane stuff.
So all the others, they got close-up shots of him. Bob doesn't allow that. You know that.
Of course.
So it's just this real, like the TV is almost completely pitch black. You can't really make anything out. And you can see somebody hunched over a keyboard with a hoodie over his head. And he is, I was 61.
We talked about this a little bit last week in that, is it still worth going when they're so clearly past their prime? And then it's up to the individual, right? Is the nostalgia a powerful enough draw? Is just the fact that you're in the same airspace as Bob Dylan, is it worth it for you to do that? Luckily, there were lots of other incredible performances there. But no, I didn't catch a second of any of it, but I heard that, I heard Steve Earle was good. I heard Waxahachie was great. These are some of the, Waxahachie being one of the more modern era bands. And again, Willie Nelson, great, but frail and old, man. I mean, he's an old dude.
He's 92.
Exactly. And so the fact that he's out there doing it at all and you can at least still make out the words, I find that deeply impressive. Plus, he's just, when I interviewed Cyndi Lauper one time, she said, because she had done a country album a few years back, about 10 years ago now, I guess, and Willie Nelson came in to work on one of the songs, and she said she was so in awe when he walked into the room because, well, he's like Yoda. Because he's just a little guy, but he's Yoda. And I love that line. And so, yeah, that's great. But and there was a lot there to buoy the otherwise completely forgettable and somewhat embarrassing, maybe even, performance by Bob Dylan.
Well, I did my own Legends tour where I started to want to see all the legendary people before they went to the great beyond, and then Grim joins the Grum.
Right.
The Grim Reaper joins the Grum.
Right. The Grim on the Grum.
Grim on the Grum to give the old bit, right?
Right.
So I went and saw Merle Haggard.
Yeah.
And I saw...
was that good, by the way?
Really good.
Because he's such a brilliant, important songwriter, and again, not a superstar. Well, in the country world, for sure, a superstar, but that's a guy whose legacy is not even a little bit smirched. He's amazing.
Chris Christopherson was with him, and he never had he was a great songwriter. His voice was never real strong, and it was really bad that day. They even said, I've been fighting a cold, and it was really bad. But, it's Chris Christopherson. Then I saw Glenn Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw him when he was in the depths of his...
On his way out.
On his, dementia or... Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
It was at Mystic Lake. I've told the story on the radio before. It was one of the most emotionally draining concerts I've ever seen, because he's up there when he's going through, and you're hoping he can get through the whole song without forgetting lyrics, and you'd get to the end, you go, oh my gosh, he did it. And then you'd wait for the next one, and it was, you could tell he had, it looked like 3 teleprompters, built into the stage on the floor, and he had to look at them to read the lyrics, and I really believe he tried not to. A couple times he'd look up and try, but he had to go back to him. But then what was amazing was, and I'm told by people that's 2 different parts of the brain, the guitar parts.
Yeah.
He never missed. I mean, it was like he went back when he was with he used to play for the Wrecking Crew, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's muscle memory right there. You literally spend your entire life doing something. You're always going to know how to do it.
And what people, our listeners probably, the average listener, the fan, their age group, they maybe know the name Glenn Campbell, but really know nothing about him. And, he played kind of a corny country kind of a thing, but he had some of the most important hits of Wichita Lineman. And by the time I get to Phoenix and Gentle on My Mind are just brilliant pieces of work. But people don't realize what a brilliant guitar player he was.
That's what he did. I mean, he was one of the most in-demand West Coast session guys, period. No qualifier on that statement. He was already a really, truly grizzled, seasoned vet at a relatively young age by the time he decided to step out on his own.
And then I saw Leon Russell at the Dakota before he passed away.
Right.
He comes in on one of those little scooters.
Uh-huh.
That you see
like a little lark.
Yeah. He comes in, and I think I've told you the story, and I've recanted it on the air a couple of times. It was so good at the very end of the show. People are clapping. It's coming at the end. And he goes, now, a lot of you people probably know that I can't get around very good anymore, and I don't walk very much. He said, so, and this is the part of the show where we get up and leave the stage, you clap till we come back. he said, let's skip the part where we leave the stage.
Right there.
And everybody roared with it, and then they did the
automatic first ballot Hall of Famer for doing that, because I hate that dance so much where you just stand there. You know they're coming back out. If it was truly a command encore, that would be fun. If you really had to make them... But now it's just this pointless dance at the end of the... I understand they want to catch their breath and come out and wow you with the finale, but let's just do the show and then everyone can go about their business.
But it was a lighthearted moment, and again, I've said this many times. I really can't listen to a piano player, guitar player, drummer, bass player, singer, and say, it's vintage, it's perfect, he hit every note, or this was because, most musicians would say, man, I didn't play the guitar very well on that one. I missed this. I wouldn't know that as a novice, but I know I enjoyed the night with Leon Russell. It was just, I thought it was simply brilliant. And then he had his tour bus parked out on, Nicollet and 10th?
Yep.
So my sister went to the concert with me, and I had a Leon Russell, CD. She said, well, let's go see if we can get an autograph. We knock on the door of the RV, the tour bus. Door opens up really, it's not Leon, but it's somebody goes, hey, I was hoping Leon could autograph this. Guy sticks his hand up. We hand it to him. He closes the door, comes back about 15 seconds later, hands it to us, and there's Leon's autograph.
Password.
Yeah, exactly, password. So it was really cool. And so to see those legends, getting back to why I brought it all up, to see Willie, to see Dylan, if you'd not seen. Deuce was really funny. Deuce said, he went to see the Dylan movie. Yeah. And he said, I'd really like to see Dylan live after watching. He said, Dad, on second thought, I think I don't need to see him live.
What do you think now?
Right. Exactly. Now what do you think
about Dylan? What do you think about Bob Dylan?
But seeing the legends, I think, is kind of a fun thing.
It was a great day. 40 years of doing it. They got the union issues figured out over there in time to make it happen. It was such a big deal, and it's great that it was available to so many people through the internet. And I don't know, it's cool that it was in Minnesota for its 40th anniversary, because obviously this is the heartland. And let's not forget, in addition to the music and the performance, the cause, the reason they've been doing this for so strong for so long, for 40 years, is to fight the ever more difficult plight of the American family farmer, and fight for it, and to at least draw attention to it, because it hasn't gotten better. And so there's never probably been more of a need for people of that caliber to do that kind of work.
Well, and what was nice about the telecast is, all the artists were doing short sets. They were doing 5-6 songs, boom. So they had to, move equipment, do this and that. And the other thing, so then they would intersperse it on the YouTube with interviews with farmers from here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And talking, like you say, the plight of it in starting this kind of a farm and that kind of a farm, and what they have to do. And, unless you live that life, you don't really understand the plight of the farmer. You just think, well, they just, they grow crops, they hope for good weather, they harvest, and then they move on with their lives. But it's
obviously, Hank Williams sang all about the Dust Bowl. But then as we move into the 80s, for people who haven't spent any real time with John Mellencamp's album Scarecrow, that's what that whole entire record is about the plight of the American farmer in the heartland. And it's well written, excellently produced, and there is no small amount of anger at the situation of the way the world is in it. It's a very, very good record, and certainly an excellent pop document of what was going on in America at the time, and I think continues to go on.
Text message says, if you want to see a legendary performer that can still hit it, go see Boss Skaggs. I saw him at Treasure Island about 3-4 years ago. Simply brilliant. You know what's interesting about Boss Skaggs?
That's interesting.
The music he did from Silk Degrees was what put him on the map and made him a major star, made him all of his money and his hits and all that.
Right.
That was that album wasn't really what he wanted to do. He didn't like pop stuff, but I think it was Picaro from Toto, and one of the other Toto guys said, no, that's what you got to do if you want to make money.
Well, you got to make money so that you can do the record you want to do next time. So, if you see it in Hollywood all the time, where they're like, all right, I'm going to do the massive blockbuster and get paid $25 million because then I can do this indie project that's been something I've been dying to do for years. So you got to do it in any form of entertainment.
So what he would do at his concert, he would play a couple of the hits. This is what he did at Treasure Island. And he'd play them exactly like the radio version, so everybody really loved it. Then he would go, now for my new album, and he would play he was doing almost like bluesy or bluegrass. I don't know I don't remember, because it was a number of years ago. And then he would play a couple more hits, then he'd play a few of his songs. So he was like, okay, I'll give you what you want, but I'm also going to do what I want to do too, and it made everybody happy.
Well, that's the smart way to do it. I mean, because, the people talk about going to see a Van Morrison show and not getting a single hit, and of the songs they might know, getting some weird, twisted, stretched out jazzy version. And that's not why people people dropped $100 back then and much more now to go see you. You got to give the people what they want. Doesn't mean you're a jukebox, doesn't mean you're a slave, and of course you can feature your new music, but you got to find a balance in there if you want to keep your fans happy.
Tennaby, is it time?
Oh, yeah.
Rock rank.
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 All right, Oak, we're expecting you to go deep today. Today is an interesting rock rank that I think Common will want to participate in as well.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to rank your top 5 songwriters of all time.
I'm going to count it down from 5 to 1 because since I got the heads up on this, I was able to do some thinking about it. And let me preface this by saying there are some glaring omissions on here. There are way more than 5 brilliant all-time songwriters, way more. And so I'm going to get to the end of this list and you're going to be like, well, where's so-and-so? Where's so-and-so? Where's so-and-so? Yeah. They're still there, but I'm making this a combination of historical fact and impact and my personal taste.
Okay.
Number 5 is actually a songwriting duo, because there are a great number of songwriting, either combos or duos and producer duos, Carole King and Jerry Goffin. Mm-hmm. When you talk about the early Phil Spector sound, the girl group sound of the first half of the 1960s, there is not a more successful or well-recognized in terms of the music songwriting duo than King and Goffin. There is not. And this was long before Carole King stepped out and did her own stuff with Tapestry and the likes. Yep. And she's got a bunch of records too. But just a small sampling of some of the hits that they did. I don't even know where to start here. Take Good Care of My Baby, Halfway to Paradise, The Locomotion, perhaps you've heard of that one. Go Away Little Girl, Don't Say Nothing Bad About My Baby, It Might As Well Rain Until September, One Fine Day by the Siobhans, Up on the Roof by the Drifters, Don't Bring Me Down by the Animals, Going Back by Dusty Springfield and the Byrds, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, Aretha Franklin, and Pleasant Valley Sunday by the Monkees. And so they you want to talk about mailbox money. They were making all the mailbox money in the 60s, obviously doing the work.
Pounding out the hits.
It's just, they were, that's why the Brill Building got put on the map. Yeah. They both lived a block away, ended up working in the Brill Building, and that's why it became this sort of sound of an era and absolutely the epicenter of great songwriting of an era. And so they're an easy number 5 for me.
Number 4.
Number 4. This could just have easily, in my opinion, been Prince in terms of longevity and impact. But if we're going to talk about somebody who really, this was a toss-up for me. It was either Prince or my number 4 choice, Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder
has another one of those not only impossibly long and influential careers, but success at every level, every iteration, and a lasting impact on whatever the popular music or the music he pursued at the time. It was funk, it was soul, it was R&B, it was balladry. There was even borderline pop music in there. And he started doing, Blind Kid started doing when he was 11, I think, is when Fingertips first came along, and then just wrote so many legendary songs. But again, it's his lasting impact, his willingness to upend the stylistic norms of the era in which he was writing. He reinvented so many things, and part of that is his songwriting, right? The structure of the songs, the instrumentation, and just the enduring nature of the songs that he wrote.
Number 3, rock rank.
All right, well, we're going to talk about the part about Bob Dylan that everyone does love, because at number 3 for me is Bob Dylan. Most lists that you go look at of the greatest songwriters of all time, he'll be number 1. Yeah. And there's no question that he is a brilliant songwriter. And unlike anybody else who had come before him, even though he drew influence from a number of people, he was a new thing and an important thing, and a thing that's impact was not only deeply felt at the time, but is still felt today. The nature, that confessional nature of singer-songwriting, that really didn't happen not in that kind of an intense and personal and storytelling mode. He set that up. The singer-songwriter exists because Bob Dylan created something brand new.
He created the template.
But then in that era, more bands and artists had hits with Bob Dylan songs than he had. Yes. Again, we're talking about a guy not only successful in his own right. You want to talk about mailbox money? You'd probably be hard-pressed to find anybody that made the kind of mailbox money and probably still does that that guy did.
Rock rank number 2. Rock rank.
Number 2 has got a little bit of my personal flavor in it, but again, it speaks to the longevity of the artist, the flexibility, and the overall acumen musically and lyrically, but also the ability to morph into something they hadn't been before or didn't exist before, and that would be David Bowie. He's my all-time favorite, so obviously his song speaks to me. But early on, kind of hippy-dippy, folky stuff, then went into real hard rock, and that was before even Space Oddity hit, then sort of found the fame he'd been looking for with Space Oddity, and from there kind of grooved into something between the feel-good pop of the late 60s and the sort of dismal or at least sort of resigned rock attitude of the early 70s. He navigated that beautifully, went through several career reinventions in the 80s when he was the most famous he ever was. He'd already been a 25-year veteran of the music scene, and he just kept writing great songs and just kept making hits and endured literally up until his death in 2016. So I think number 2, and yeah, I don't have any apologies about that.
Number 1, rock rank.
What do you think I picked for number 1?
I think it was probably going to be Drummer Guy. No, the Drummer Guy's doing some great work. Lennon McCartney.
Well, and so I didn't know if I could do them both together or if they had to be separate. And so I went with the idea of separate, even though I did. And so of those 2, I still would say that the greatest songwriter that ever lived and still lives while you and I and everyone listening has been alive, in rock history, in pop history, I don't think there's ever been a better songwriter than Paul McCartney.
I would tend to, even though I prefer personally Lennon's.
Of course, that's fine.
McCartney did it all.
He did everything, and
love songs, ballads.
You think about
hard
it,
rockers.
That band only has about 225 songs or so, somewhere in that ballpark, and there aren't any stinkers. Nothing's terrible. You know, there's some things that I don't love. I know you're a big one after 909 or whatever it is, but I don't care about that. But you know, and then if you put Lennon in with him, then it's clear number 1. And I know a lot of old schoolers will be like, well, our new schoolers rather would be like, oh man, are we talking about the Beatles still? There's a reason we're still talking about the Beatles, because they wrote songs. Now, and again, the number of glaring omissions on this list, like the fact that I had to make a top 5 that didn't include Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, that's a heartbreaker for me.
Paul Simon.
Jagger Richards also should be on there. They're absolutely brilliant. Paul Simon, he should be in the top. Joni Mitchell. There are so many incredible. Neil Young should be on this list, but when you have to narrow it down to 5, I went with my criteria of what was their impact and were the songs any good, and all those 5 I picked I feel very strongly about. My mind could change tomorrow, but that's where it was today. You know, and people throw a bunch of different people in there, but you know, should Hank Williams be on there? Probably, because American popular music doesn't really exist like it exists today without his influence. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those that it's fun to strike up a conversation. It's fun to think back and really see who deserves the accolades, but there are dozens that are on my list.
Rock rank here on Rock Talk.
That was a good pull, Tenna. I really enjoyed that one.
Well done. And there we go. There's another episode of Rock Rank. And again, it's easy to find your podcast.
Very simple. In fact, it's almost too easy. You'd be a fool not to go track it down. You've got a free iHeartRadio app. You've got it on your handheld device that also doubles as a phone. Right there, you go and just type in The Brian Oak Show, and through the iHeartRadio app, it'll take you to 518 episodes of musical conversation, talking about our community, playing sweet jams, and basically hanging out and doing a more up-to-date and localized version of Rock Talk.
We'll see you next. We'll go back to Wednesday at 12:30. Perfect. That's Brian Oak with Rock Talk. 534 next. 10. What you got?
Yeah, has Common been vindicated?